Hurts.
Prayer books.
All right, and we're live.
Okay, con. Salakia, thanks for the heads up.
Apparently, we're live for a minute 15 already. You
Oh
see,
damn! It's on the on your camp's channel, right? Damn, there you go.
Yeah. You see this powerful thumbnail that I got of John the Baptist being beheaded right here? Those martyr video.
All I can see is the logo. All I can see is the. Hold on one second. I'll tell you right now. I can see how I see it.
Yeah, when you look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
powerful.
I see it.
That's powerful.
Hold on. Let me send class out right quick. Copy link. It don't show up on my screen. That's crazy. Hey, the font. The font doesn't show up on my phone screen. That's crazy. Peace.
Boom.
I'm trying to send this out too. Don't even sweat it. I'm trying to get this. What the fuck is going on? You live in Albuquerque, huh?
Who?
You.
Me? Oh yeah. Okay.
Come on.
I was like, who? We got a viewer, what? What's going on?
Now I'm trying to find the camp.
Who's in Albuquerque? The Kirky.
All right, there's class. You see me posting everything, right?
See that? Look at that. How can we do it 3? Yeah, we can. But it's all right when we're gonna show the scriptures. So man,
let me see,
brothers. We'll go ahead and try to give them a little bit of time to get in here.
Yeah, I seen you shared it too. I shared it too. Damn it, now you
I'm gonna start with a New Testament precept.
Give me a sec. Who else am I?
13 and 13, and then we'll get into some concepts, right? We'll get into some seeing what brothers was going through and how they were faithful unto death. And not all brothers had to die, okay, because they were so faithful. Let's let that be known. And then, can you pull Ecclesiastes?
All right, I'm done sharing. I'll send it to everybody. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me share it on Facebook. All right. Okay. All right, Salakia, give me 2 seconds. I gotta still finish watching your etiquette video. So this class titled "Faithful Unto Death," right? Salakia, faithful unto death. What's the first precept you asked, Salaki, King?
I'm gonna start with Matthew 13 and 13, but can you get in Sirach, furnace of affliction?
Fine. Which one now?
Furnace of affliction.
Kindness of affliction.
Furnace.
Okay. Hey. My bad. I know I do that shit to Char all the time for him. That's Isaiah. Huh? Oh no, never mind. So like that's the one. That's the first one that pops up though. Actually, behold, I ever find thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. That one?
I'm
gonna use that one.
I always have to pull this precept for Sakari. Oh, Salakia, what the fuck happened here? What is going on here?
I don't know, Isaiah. I'm gonna use that one though, Isaiah 48 and 10.
It was in Sirach, bro. It was talking about enduring, to mm-mm. Man, there's so much. I bet you have it highlighted too.
Probably do. You talking about Sirach 2 and 5?
Is it?
For gold is tried in fire and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity?
Oh, yeah, Con. Salakia. Okay. It's been a while since we put it. That's a good one. We could use that one.
All right, I got that. But,
all right, yeah. We'll go ahead and start. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to the Most High God. In the name of His only begotten Son, the world ignorantly calls Christ. We are the Hebrew Israelites of the sect of 12 Gates. This is an Israelite school. We are here to teach the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth of the Bible. All right. In truth, in sincerity, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. We're going to hit Mark 13 and verse 13. Right?
So I gotta change my camera. What the hell?
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure unto the end shall be saved. Right? So we know that we need to endure until the end, right? To be saved.
Want to go? Oh, okay.
Most High in fucking Christ. I can never just be at peace. All right. Matthew's 24 and 13. Which is just a reiteration, basically, of what was said in Mark, right? But we're showing you what these brothers were saying, right? 24 and 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we need to endure, right? Let's see what the word endure means. And he that shall endure.
Strong's G 5278. Hupameno. Hupameno.
Hupameno. All right. Endure. Take patiently. Tarry behind. Abide. Patient. Suffer. To remain. To tarry behind. To remain. Abide. Not recede or flee. To persevere under misfortunes and trials. To hold fast to one's faith in Christ. Right? To endure. Bear bravely and calmly ill treatments, right? This is what we need to do. This is what we were called for, right? And what we were told by Christ to do, to endure, right? What were we to endure, right? The world, Christ said that the world hates us. So we're going to see some of the things that our brethren have endured. And we're going to go to Daniel 3, the book of Daniel 3. And we're going to read that, right? Because these were powerful brothers. And we're going to try to get this through this as fast as possible. The captain will have precepts whenever he wants to pull them. So
Salakia,
somehow he fell off. Salakia.
Difficulties over here. Salakia, I was having technical difficulties. It was not letting me go get in class. Salakia, damn it, goddamn double.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I fixed it. Issue already in Matthew, right?
Yeah, we already read Matthew. Okay. We went to Matthew and Mark and just showed a couple witnesses about, enduring to the end and showed you what it means to endure.
Okay, come. I got those two you needed.
Oh yeah, pull that. Salak, go ahead.
Okay, Salakia. This let me Salakia. Apologies. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
right? So gold is tried in the fire. Gold is a precious thing, right? Everybody loves gold. Gold is such a
God.
precious thing that Simon Maccabeus sent a gold shield unto the Romans for protection, and they gave us all
God.
of Jerusalem to deal with, right? How we saw fit. That's how precious gold is. It can be a protection, right? A shield. That's why it was so symbolic of why he sent them a golden shield, right? Um, and men in the furnace of affliction, right? That's how we're
God.
trial by the furnace of affliction, by the fire, right? How are we getting burned? Well, let's see how these brothers got burned, and then we'll start to understand, right? This is a physical as well as a spiritual meaning and concept, right? In Hebraic terms, in Hebrew concepts, enduring to the end, suffering these things, right? This is a repetitive thing that's happened. It says our brothers shall be in the street, 10 days, 7 days, what was it?
3.5 days.
3.5 days,
Talking
right?
about in Revelation, right?
Con.
Yeah, it's
But
three
our
and a half
brothers,
days, that kid. Or
it's a lot. Um,
I
but
might
yeah,
be
our brothers
wrong.
have been lining. I don't remember. It's been a while. I gotta go back.
God.
Um, but yeah, our brothers suffer these trials and tribulations still to this day. So let's go ahead and get on to what it's talking about, right? This is Nebuchadnezzar timeline. We were in Babylon and under captivity, right? This is the book of Daniel, chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon, right? So this is how we know timeline Babylon. Who are we talking about? Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. What did he do? He set up a golden image, right? Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together princes, governors, and captains. All right, so he's getting all his people together, and he's about to make a declaration, right? So to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. So this is what he's doing. He's making the dedication. So then these, I'm gonna try to hustle through this because this is a long, a long get down, right? Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up and stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. He was telling all these people that to basically come and they're gonna worship this image, right? Then and Herod cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. So he's talking to all the nations, right? That Babylon is in control over. And if you look at it, the Babylonian dynasty was actually in control of most of Asia at that time.
God.
This is verse 5. At what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image. So he's saying, when you hear all this music, all this calamity going on, all this noise, right? You need to come down here and bow down to this golden image that I set up. All right. And whoso not falleth down and worshipeth shall fall the same hour. Salakia, shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning furnace, right? So they're going to throw him in the burning fiery furnace. That's that furnace of affliction right there, right? Therefore, at the time when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, right, and all those musical instruments, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image, right? But we had a snitch here in verse 8, all right?
God.
Where at the time, certain Chaldeans, which were our cousins, right? They were our people at the time, came near and accused the Jews, right? So they were like, oh, well, these motherfuckers, they're not doing it, right? They spake and said, oh, to the king, they said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man shall hear and sound the cornet, flute, blah, 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 right? And they shall worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship that should be cast into the midst of the burning furnace, right? So they're telling them like, man, well, you said this, and this is what's going to happen to him, right? And then they go on to say and name the people that are not bowing down to this golden image, right? Therefore are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship thy golden image, which thou hast set up. right? Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king, right? And Nebuchadnezzar spake unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? So he's basically asking them, like, so are you not like following my decrees? You don't worship our gods, right? And it's basically talking about all those musical instruments, right? And let's get into ye fall down and worship the image which I have made ye well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast. So he's basically telling them what's going to happen, right? They're going to be thrown into the burning fiery furnace. And then who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? This is Nebuchadnezzar speaking to them, right? And these brothers, man, were powerful. All right, because this is the response in verse 16. These brothers was called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. He said, well, man, we're not going to even be sly. We're not going to even be slick about this. We're going to tell you straight up, right? If it be so, if you throw us in this fire, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us. He said, because we're not bowing down, you know what I mean? We're going to be saved. The Most High is going to come and save us and deliver us out of this fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. Right? But if it not be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship thy golden image, which thou hast set up. Right? And this goes back to a precept. I'd rather obey God than men, right? God. That's what we know, right? Go ahead, yeah. Baba Shah. Grab some water.
Come on, the book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
Right, so we ought to obey God rather than men, and this is what people don't understand. When in the New Testament, brothers are quoting things and they're bringing instances as we do in these days, in these modern days. You know what I mean? And these brothers were showing, okay, we'd rather obey God rather than men. Why? Where did they get this instant from? Where did they get this idea? There's been several, right? There's been several instances in the quote unquote Old Testament or Tanakh, right, or Torah. Show this, and this is one of those instances, right? Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the form of his visage has changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more. It was wont to be heated. So it wasn't even supposed to be this hot. And they said, heat it up that hot, right? Make it hot, make it glow, right? And he commanded the most mighty men, so the biggest dudes you could find, right, that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace, right? So they're going into this this death pit, basically, to be burned at the stake like a witch, right? Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. So they basically tied him up with all these garments on, threw him up in there, right? Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceeding hot, the flames of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So it slew the men that took these brothers into the fire, right? That's how hot this thing was. It killed those people, right? That's powerful. I never realized that as I've gone through the scriptures before, right? You had that? Oh yeah, you already pulled it, Slaka. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace, right? So they fell down. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God, right? Then Nebuchadnezzar came near of the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. Right? And the
I got a
princes.
precept, by the way.
Go ahead, King. Pull it.
Give me a second. Isaiah chapter 48 and verse 10, going back to what we was talking about earlier. Isaiah 48. Oh, Salaki, it was just here too. The precept to basically to Sirach, the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
All right, he had chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. All right, he had chosen these men as well in the furnace of affliction. And this is how we know, that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they match these people who are spoken about throughout the Bible, right? I mean, who's been through the furnace of affliction more than these people on this earth?
Con.
All right, and who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's words and yield their bodies that they might not serve. Oh, Salaki, you know what? I skipped a verse. Daniel's 3 and 27. The princes, governors, captains, and kings, counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power. So this fire had no power, right? Nor was an hair on their heads singed. So their hair wasn't even singed. Neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. So their coats didn't burn, and they didn't even smell like they were in the flame. You know, when you've ever been to, who's been to like a bonfire, right? You go to a bonfire, and you're sitting there chilling, and you just, like, it smells terrible, right? So I'm locking on, that's from the cabin. Let's see. Okay, yeah, cool, Con. Salaki, I had to check that real quick. Right. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So see what happens being faithful unto death, how it can change, right? So Nebuchadnezzar, who wasn't a believer, set up his own gods, his own things to worship, seeing the power of the Most High God, because these three brothers were faithful unto death, right? They were willing to endure until the end, right? And now Nebuchadnezzar speaks of God, the Most High God, our God, the God of the Hebrews, as the only God, right? The only God who's able to do these mighty things, right? And it'll later confirm here, right? Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, right? So what do we have to do? We need to trust in him. And have changed the king's word and yield their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any gods except their own God. So because of that, they were able to change the heart of Nebuchadnezzar, right? Therefore, I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So he's making a decree right now to all people that are under the Babylonian dynasty, right? He's saying that if these people speak amiss or use any kind of foul language or say anything about the God of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, they shall be cut into pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. So he knew, he realized, he recognized game. He said, man, that's the true living God, right? Then the king promoted, right? So now Nebuchadnezzar promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So they were on high. They were put up on as like how Joseph was put up in Egypt.
I got a precept, Doc.
Okay.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall
Good.
come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I
Okay.
command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So the Most High said, if we hearken unto these things, the way that these brothers hearken unto these things. I mean, Christ only said, man, you need a grain the size of a mustard seed. And how little, oh ye a little faith, how little faith do we have, right? That these brothers done put their life on the line for the Most High God, right? And we can't even you know what I mean, stop eating pork.
God can't stop in the drink.
You know what I mean? Can't even throw on some fringes, man. You can't observe a high holy day. You want to observe Christmas. And you want to put that damn Jeremiah 10 in your house, right?
Come on. Bring that out, Doc. Bring that
out. Give me 2 Timothy 2 and 3.
Got you, Mark.
Okay, I'm gonna pull another one, and then we'll pull these scriptures, and then we'll just go back to pulling some history of brothers that have done this, right? I'll pull 2 Timothy 4 and 5. All right, so this is the book of 2 Timothy 4 and 5. But watch thou in all things, right? For the watchmen, for the brothers, right? Watch thou in all things. Endure afflictions, right? Endure those demons screaming at you, spitting in your face on the street corner, man, because they're mad that you're out there teaching this, right? Teaching this doctrine. Do the work of an evangelist. Do the work of an evangelist, right? Wake up, Jacob, right? Make full proof of thy ministry, right? Make full proof of your ministry, man. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. That was powerful right there, man. All right. And at the end of the day, man, this is what we need to do. We need to do these things. We need to be watchful. We need to endure afflictions. We need to do the work of an evangelist, and we need to make full proof of our ministry. Because you know what? At the end of the day, man, we are ready to be offered. All right. At any time, you don't know when the Most High will take you. All right. You don't know when Esau will come up here and kick your door in and cut your head off. All right. All right. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Right. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Right. So this is what we need to do, man. You know, we need to hold fast, hold steady. All right.
I got that for you too.
I got a powerful one. This is the brother. This is, I think, Hebrews 11.
Let me get that for you, 2 Timothy. Salaki,
yeah, pull that.
Oh, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 3. Thou, therefore, endure hardness as the good soldier of Hamashiach Yahushai.
Endure hardness as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahushai, because what happened? We're going to have afflictions, right? We're going to be persecuted. We're going to be hated by the earth, right? So we need to endure and have faith unto death, right? Right? Oh, this is powerful, right? Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, right? For by it the elders obtained a good report, right? And we can understand by faith who's obtained a good report in faith. We will understand this immediately once I get into what we're going to be dealing with here, right? Let's hear what happened to Enoch with his faith, right? By faith, Enoch was transliterated, that he should not see death, and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God, right? So if you please the Most High, you believe with him, and you endure, because what happened? What was going to happen in the times of Enoch, man? There was a bunch of crazy things happening, right? There was a bunch of wickedness. Right? People were dying, bad things were just happening, and the Most High was going to kill everybody. But what happened? Enoch was transliterated before that. And then later on came a flood, killed everybody, took everybody out. right? So what happens when we endure and we're loyal and we stay faithful to the Most High? He rewards us, right? We will see an instance of how the Most High deals, right? You won't always be rewarded right away. Some rewards will come in that second life, right?
Con.
And that's what faithful unto death is. You know what I mean? You have to have that faith that double cup will be handed out, right? Hebrews 12, verse 7. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons, right? So if you endure these afflictions, these lamentations, these sufferings, right? These afflictions, right? God dealeth with you as a son. He'll deal with you as you are his son, right? That's what he says. For what son is he whom the Father chastiseth not? So how can you even be considered a son of God if he hath not put you through the furnace of affliction? If he had not tried you to be as gold, right? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. Bastards. Now let's see what the term for bastards in the Greek means, right? Let's get it. G3541.
Strong's G 3541. Nathos. Nathos.
Illegitimate bastard, one born not in a lawful wedlock, but of a concubine or female slave. You think you're illegitimate? Hey, he said you were born of a slave. All right. So what does that tell you? He was never married to you. Other nations, right? Most High was married to other nations. He dealt with us as wives, right? He called you guys bastards. Because he hasn't chastised you as he's chastised Israel. Right? How many times has he destroyed Israel? Just think about that, right? Salakia. We will. Can you get me James? Or actually, Salakia, get me. Did you put that precept in Acts 12 you're going to get?
I was waiting for you.
Go ahead, pull that.
Acts 12?
Yeah.
You talking about at the top, right?
Huh?
At the top,
Salakia,
right?
here. Go ahead.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 12, from the top. Now, at about the time Herod, the king, stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church. And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword.
So Herod had killed James, and he was vexing the church. Go ahead, Salakia.
Salakia, no, you good. Verse 3. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread.
And he took Peter. Go ahead.
And then were the days of unleavened bread. And when it came, and when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to the 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Passover, I'm not reading that word, to bring him forth to the people. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church of God unto him.
So the brother had faith, right? Without ceasing. Prayer. He went into prayer to show what? His faith. Right?
Keep going.
Go ahead.
And when Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and the keepers of the door kept the prison. And behold,
this is how powerful.
Salakia.
This is how powerful it was. Peter was asleep in prison in between 2 guards who were next to him, right? Go ahead.
Salakia. And behold, the angel of the Lord came upon him, and light shone in the prison, Salaki. Light shone in the prison, and he smote Peter and the side and raised him up, saying, "Arise up quickly." And his chains fell off his hands. And
So the Most High done smacked Peter upside the head, woke his ass up, said, "Get up." The chains are off. You're free. All right, brother. You need to flee because these men pursue. You know what I mean? Go ahead, King.
Salaki. The Lord came upon him, and the light shone in the prison, and he smote Peter and said on the side and raised him by saying, "Arise quickly." And Salakia, where was I? And his chains fell off his hands, and the angel said unto him, "Gird thyself and bind thy sandals." And he said, and he did, and he said unto him, "Cast thy garment unto thee and follow me." And he went out and followed him, and wist not. Salaki, that is weird ass little thing. My shit.
That's good. That's all on that, man. That's
Okay.
good right there. That's just, so the faith that Peter had on him, right, where he was asleep in between two guards and in prayer. The Most High done knocked these two guards out, dead ass sleeping, right, not even awake. That the prison door is done opened. Jake's shackles done fell off his hands, and these guards didn't hear it, right? I mean, shackles at the time were loud as fuck. And most shackles were probably connected to your legs and your arms. You know what I mean? At those times. So just imagine that. I mean, that's how much faith the brother had. Now, let's see what happens. This is James 5:11. Let's see what it's counted to endure, right? Behold, we count them happy, right? Them happy. We count them happy, which endure. So if you endure, you will be counted happy, right? Ye have heard the patience of Job. Man, the patience of Job. Job, another brother who endured. And that's a story that we'll be talking about. We'll jump around there just a few instances, right? Slakia. And have seen the end of the Lord, right? And talking about the end of the will, right? We've gone through all this suffering, and this is rotational, right? Because the Most High said everything judgment is likened unto a circle, unto a ring, right? So this is how Israel's been dealt with, right? The Lord is very pitiful, right? So the Most High will give us our mercies, right? And tender mercy. So the Most High is going to give us these things, and He's going to bring us back to a right? But right now we're in the middle of a rotation, right? Of how we're being persecuted and punished for sins that we've done, right? We need to come back to these law, statutes, and commandments, understand who we are, have faith unto death, have etiquette in Israel, and start to walk, right? Temples. So we're gonna let's go Salaki, let's go to Maccabees, 2 Maccabees 7. And this is gonna be a long one because
2 Maccabees 11?
Yeah.
My bad, I'm taking notes down too, you know what I'm
saying? Second Mac 7.
So if I repeat, it's not. Wait, say it again.
2 Mac 7, 1 through 41. I'll actually pull it too. Because you know what, like, we're gonna try to jump around through it too and make it quick. But I mean, the whole chapter is just a powerful instance on a family just suffering lamentation and having faith unto death, right?
Hey, you know it's crazy. I gotta edit the video, but there's a video, a lesson I did last Hanukkah called "Cultural Zealotry," similar to being faithful unto death. Actually,
that's the palm.
That's powerful through the Spirit.
7, 2 Maccabees 7. So like, I'm almost there. All right. If you want to go through, let's see. If you read through 20, I'll finish it out.
Oh. Through 20?
Yeah.
Salaki. Okay, it's the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented without scourge and whips. But one of them that spoke first and said thus, "What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die. we are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. Forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of them, and spoke first to cut off the uttermost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Now, when was thus maimed, and all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire, and to be fried in the pan. As the vapor of the pan was a good dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, Yahweh power look upon us, and in truth has comforted us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he did, and he shall be comforted in his servants. Ooh, Salakia. Your boy getting old. So when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to make a mocking stock, when they pulled off the skin of his head, with the hair, and they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? Bro, they asking him. They just watched his brother die, and they're asking him if he's about to really do this.
Yeah, and they scalped this Jake, bro. They scalped him. They scalped Jake, cut off his wrist, cut off his arms, legs, his tongue, right? Scalp him. And they're like, what's up, man? You want to keep on getting tortured, or you want to eat some swine?
But he answered in his own language and said, La'ah. He said, no. Wherefore, he also received the next torment in order. Salakia. Wherefore, he received the next torment in order as the former did. And when he was at his last gasp, he said, thou like a fury takest us out of his present life. But the king of this world shall raise us up, who have died for the laws unto everlasting life.
Regeneration precept, resurrection precept. Go ahead, King.
Come on. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marvel at the young man's courage, for that he had nothing regarded the pains. Now, when this man was dead,
he didn't even make a squeal. Like he didn't even regard any of it. When they cut out his tongue, they cut off his arms. He didn't make a sound. He was ready for death. His brother was determined, right? And what did he say? To endure? What did man, right? These brothers endured calamities. Go ahead,
No, you good. Now, when this man was also dead, they tormented and mangled the fourth, like in the same manner. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good being put to death by men, to look for hope from Yahweh to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Afterward, they brought the fifth also. So
there's a point there, because there's two resurrections, right? You get a resurrection unto life, unto glory, the resurrection of glory, or the resurrection of the second death. You're going to get to second death, bro. You're just going to get a resurrection to get put to death, right? And that's cold, man. That's how you could tell that these brothers actually believed. And these brothers were the templemen, right? These were Levites, if I'm not mistaken.
Come on.
So these were the brothers who ran the temple. These were the Pharisees of the Pharisees and the Sadducees of the Sadducees before these Pharisees and Sadducees were Pharisees and Sadducees. If you get what I mean, these were the brothers that were running the government. You know what I mean? And they believed in the resurrection. So go ahead.
Afterward, they brought also the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked unto the king and said, Salakia, what?
I was saying 7 brothers. We're 5 down right now. Go ahead.
God. Then looked unto the king and said, thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible. Thou dost what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God.
Woo! We were already forsaken. It was foretold. Go ahead.
But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed.
With his great mercies, right? What we were talking about, how we will suffer these things, but at the end, what happens? It's a circular motion, right? So what comes around goes around. So we catch these calamities, but that's going to happen to the other nations as well. They're gonna suffer for these things that we've suffered.
After him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us.
Salakia, right there. Hold. Now, look at the wisdom of this brother. Instead of cursing God, or instead of saying, Why God hath thou forsaken me? He said, Nigga, we sinned. We deserve this, right?
Come on.
That is the order that this Jake is in, right? And this brother is suffering these things, man. Like Christ said, man, you have to suffer because the world hated you. If the world hated me, then surely it hated you, right?
Come
on, man. This is powerful. Go ahead, go into it.
Salakia. But think not thou takest in hand to strive against God, that thou escape unpunished. Ooh. But the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy and honorable of memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bore it with a good courage, because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I cannot tell you how you came into my womb, neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also have of his own mercy give you breath and life again. Regeneration precept. As you now regard not your own selves for his lost sake.
Man, see, the Maccabees were powerful, and I mean, regeneration is all over the Maccabees. Like, they're talking about it, right? They believed in this with a zealous spirit, right?
Come on. Verse 24. Now Antiochus, thinking of himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both rich and a happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs.
So he was basically saying,
give him the bag.
I'll make you the richest motherfucker. I'll give you a bag. You won't die. You won't suffer as your other brothers did. You just got to say that I'm your friend, right? And you just got to eat this chitlins that I brought with me. You know what I mean? Some of this fried pork skin, throw it back and make a motherfucking spread and go be buddies and pals, right? But what does this brother do? Because he knows the scriptures, right? Hand go in hand, right? The wicked shall not go unpunished, right? So what does this brother do? Right.
Verse 25. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life.
So he didn't listen. So the king called his mom.
Jacob, mama's boy, so we'll take a shot with that.
Jake, big time. You didn't listen to mama.
God. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. But she, bowing herself to her, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spoke in her country language on this manner: O my bond, have pity upon me that bore thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nursed thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education.
So she's saying,
I beseech thee, my son, look upon heaven and earth, and all that therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. You want me to keep going? I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah,
Fear
go ahead.
not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that they may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren.
Woo! The mom was cold.
She told him,
Man.
man up. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, well, let's see what the young man said.
His brother was
Okay.
powerful, all right? This little Jake.
Whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses.
Mm.
And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hands of God.
Wait. Read that. Thou that has been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews, right?
Verse 31, and thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hands of God.
And we
For
know
we
that
suffer.
these were Greeks at the time that were coming up against the tabernacles of Levi. You know what I mean? They were going up into the temples, right? These were Greeks. He said, you guys are the authors, right, of all mischief that's gone come against the Hebrews. So he knows who they are. He's pointed them out. He said, you brothers are Psalm 72 or Psalm 73, Sluggy. I'm not quite sure which one it is. He said, you that's you.
73.
All right? Yeah.
73.
All right.
Salakia. Verse 32, for we suffer because of our sins.
Mm.
And though Yahweh will be angry with us little while for our chastening and correction, and yet shall he be at one again with his servants. But thou, O godless man of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of God. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty God, or Allah Shajia, who seeth all things. For our brethren who now have suffered a short pain are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of God, shalt receive punishment for thy pride. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for laws of our fathers, beseech God that he speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou, by torment and plagues, mayest confess that he alone is God. And in me, Salakia, and that in me, my brethren, and the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon all our nation, may cease. Then the king, being in a rage, handled him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in Yahweh. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died.
Okay, that's it. That's it on that. So we can see how this family righteously died, man. The whole family, 7 brothers and a mother, right? 8 Israelites, probably of the tribe of Levi, right?
Oh, come, those are Levites.
Definitely, right? But Jake, man, you can't even, man, you can't even give up the donuts, man. All right, those glazed
can't
donuts
even give up.
with the motherfucking pork, the pork icing on it. All right.
God, Jake can't even give up gummy worms, bro.
Yeah, they can't give up gummy worms, man. You can't. It's ridiculous, man. How these brothers was willing to die and watch their entire family die, right? That's the faith that we need to have, that faith unto death, right? That's the order that we need to be in. Those are the tribulations we need to endure, right? Because I'll tell you what, when that mark of the beast comes, man, guess what, man? You better have that faith unto death, because if you take that fucking mark, you're not coming back. All right? Take that chip. Go ahead. Take the chip. See what happens.
Yeah,
you take the shot. If you take the shot, you'll take the chip. All right?
God! Hey, you know what's crazy?
Go ahead.
So, like, I was just making that correlation not too long ago to my rib.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
And I
If they
mean,
take the
anyway,
shot, they'll
take the
take the
shot,
chip.
bro. You take the shot, you're off, bro, because and you're not even supposed to be piercing in your skin, bro. It's off, bro. You're not supposed to mark yourself like that. And what happens when you take shots? Hey, man. When I was in the world, I used to go sell my plasma, man. And I got
Con, hey, me too.
track marks, bro. You know what I mean? So those are
Con.
marks. You gotta understand, man. The scriptures are deeper than what you think. You know what I mean? In those times with Moses, we didn't get sicknesses. We didn't need to go have surgeries. That shit was off. All right. If we were sick, we'd go to a Levite and he would heal us. Why? Because we were sinning. We were off. So the Most High needed his his just, right? So that's what we had to do. We had to go and make, those dedications to the Most High. He'll come back. He'll heal us, right? We didn't have those type of issues, right? We didn't need surgeries. We had medicine men. We had men of knowledge, power, wisdom, and understanding, right? 365 degrees of it, or Slocky, 360 degrees of it. I'm gonna grab a couple more. We're just gonna go to the Book of Job, man. Slocky, give me a second, and we're gonna read his witness, right? And I'm gonna give you a little bit of a story along with that because I know it was really negative. Everybody died at the end, right? But if you continue along into the Maccabees, you'll understand that was an important thing that happened because then the Spirit fell upon Judas, and then fell upon Simon, and then fell upon Matthias, right? And these brothers came and they rededicated the temple because they seen all the harshness that Israel was being treated with, right? And at the end, the glory of that story is that we took back Israel and we actually became a nation again after that. A few years later. Let's go to Job. Okay, Slocky, let me put this up. I fucking deleted it. Slock. Job. Word of the day. J-O-B. Job.
Job. J-O-B.
Job. All right, man. Let's get this, and then we'll finish out on that. It's been a fucking long lesson. All right. This is the Book of Job. I'm gonna go 1. We're gonna start at 12 through 22.
Damn, you're a long number. 12.
Yeah. Okay. Because I kind of want to. It's been long, and we brought up a lot of testimony of brothers. Even John the Baptist, he got his head cut off. We could bring that up as well, and how he was faithful unto death. Also, John the Revelator. Who else has been a martyr?
Isaiah, Jeremiah. You seen? He said, which one of the prophets have your fathers not killed?
Yeah, kind of, right. Which one of the prophets have your fathers not killed? I mean, everybody's been just. Actually, I thought
that's kind of the better question.
Was it Nehemiah or Jeremiah? I thought survived for a while after Babylon, and
that's
he went
probably
back to
Jeremiah. Oh, you know what? That's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know. We have to look into that.
Think about that. And yeah, I tripped out on that as well, right? So we showed some instances, and we're going to show another instant of a man who was faithful unto death, and what his reward was at the end, right? This is the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 12. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So he said, basically, do whatever you can, just don't put your hands on Job. Don't physically harm Job, right? Don't smite him, right? So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. Damn. So yeah. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go for a while. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. So there was a day where they were all together and they were drinking.
It was their birthday, nigga. It was their birthday. We know it was their birthday. My bad.
No, that was earlier.
That's this chapter, huh?
Thought it was earlier though. Yeah. That was verse 4. Right.
Oh, okay.
This is after he had already substantiated that his sons may have sinned, and he had sacrificed already, right? So he had atoned for this. But Satan comes up to him and or not to Job, but to the Most High, tells him basically Job's gonna forsake him, right? That he's not as perfect as the Most High says. And let's see if that is so. And there was a day that his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And we're going to jump to it. And the Sabaeans fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain their servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. So only one person escaped, right, out of that house to tell Job. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven and hath burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. I am only escaped alone to tell thee. Right? So he's lost everything. He's losing everything. The Chaldeans came, they stole his camels, right? And there comes another messenger and says, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine at their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are all dead, and only I escaped alone to tell, right? So Job has lost everything. Everything from verse 12 to 21, right? It said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. So instead of cursing him, he said, naked have I come, and naked shall I leave. With nothing was I born, and nothing shall I have when I die, right? That's what this brother is saying. The Lord hath given. I was given things, and the Lord hath taken away, right? So he's not cursing the Lord, right? In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. So he wouldn't come in contempt of the Lord, right? He wouldn't do that. Why? Because he had faith unto death, right? This is go to Job 2. That shit was a motherfucking crap. The fucking here we are. I can't see, man. I need better lights here. Job 2. God, man. I made that one hard. Job 2. 3 to 10.
Where we at?
Come on. This is the book of Job, chapter 2, verses 3 to 10, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man? So this is after everything, right? And the Most High is dealing with him again, with Satan, and talking about Job, how he's perfect. One that feareth God and escheweth evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause, right? So basically the Most High said Satan had moved him against Job to destroy him without cause, with no reasoning, and Job was still perfect, right? And Satan answered and said, Lord, and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath he will give for his life. So he's saying, you know what I mean, as long as Job isn't fearful for his own life, it didn't matter to him, right? But put forth thine hand now and touch his bones and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So he said, you cannot kill Job, right? But do what you can to him. So when Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sores and boils, and from the soles of his foot unto his crown, and he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. What a foolish woman, right? And that goes back to Psalms. That goes back to Psalms, right? A foolish woman, right? She waits up on the mountain, and her what does it say? Something about her inhabitations are as hell. That's what this one.
Proverbs or Sirach, I believe.
I think that is, yeah, that is Proverbs, right? A foolish woman is clamorous. She speaketh no.
That's Sirach.
Is it okay? Well,
it's better to dwell on the corner of a rooftop than it is to a foolish whipping. That's Proverbs.
Yeah, there's another one in Proverbs, man, that's dealing with this. This woman's habitation is as hell, right? But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? He told her,
He
You're a fool.
basically said, "Shut up, bitch."
Yeah, shut up, woman. You don't know nothing. That's basically what he's telling her. What shall we receive good at the hand of God? So what? Shall we only receive good at the hand of God? Job is saying, and shall we not receive evil? So you know what I mean. Good comes with the bad. Saying, you know what I mean. That's the circular a circular evolution of life. I mean, that says it in the scriptures. I liken judgment into a circle, right? I mean, Job knew these things. He was blessed with the spirit, right? He knew it. He had the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? So he's spitting game to this woman, right? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. So he didn't sin with his lips and all this, right? And then we're going to jump to Job chapter 3, 2, and 4. Just getting a few instances in Job because Job is so long, man. You know what I mean? We can go all day on it, but I just want to get certain little pieces in and out. 2 through 4, right? And Job spake and said, Let the day perish wherein I was born. So Satan had already taken everything he had cursed his physical body. His wife was gone. Job lost everything.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And who does he curse? Let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, There is a man-child conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, neither let the sun shine upon it. Job cursed himself. He cursed himself.
Eat your food.
Right? That's how powerful this brother was. That's how faithful unto death this brother was. That he cursed his own life instead of the Most High. Right? Now, this is a powerful example. This is how brothers need to carry themselves because this is faith beyond a mustard seed. Right? Let's go to Job 8, 19, and 22. And then the last thing we're going to pull is Job 9, 1 and 2. All right. 19 through 22. It's the book of Job 19. It's just the book of Job 8, 19. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow. Behold, God will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers. So guess what, Israel? God's not going to cast us away. Why? Because you know what I mean? There are perfect people in Israel. All right? Look at it. There was Job. There was David. There was plenty of brothers. There was John the Baptist's father, Zechariah, if I'm not mistaken.
Zechariah's Aaron. There was Job. There was Enoch.
Right.
Man, it was a couple of besides Yahushua.
Whose lineages do they all derive from? So who even has the eligibility to be perfect? If we understand. This is deeper than what it just says, right? This is about Israel, man. All right? Most High is not going to cast away Israel. All right, neither will he help those evildoers that have casted us into the pits, right, of damnation, into slavery, right, into hell, where we are now. We're in hell, Jake. There's no fairy place tale where we go and get burned by a little red guy with a pitchfork. The little guy with the pitchfork ran around and whooped your ass into slavery 100 years ago, all right, a few hundred years ago, and still to this day, just mental slavery, right? So he filled thy mouth with laughing. And when is he going to fill our mouths with laughing? When that time comes, man, when that sky cracks, that's when Jake's going to laugh and rejoice, huh? And thy lips with rejoicing. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught. So this is talking about, this is all end time connotation, right? Spiritually, you can understand where that's coming from. Now let's get the last verse on this. This is going to be Job 9, 1 and 2. And I'm going to yield after this. We'll take questions. We'll answer some questions, whatever anybody got in the chat. Then Job answered and said, I know it is so of a truth, but how should man be just with God? If he will not contend with him, if he will contend with him, he cannot answer him one of 1,000. So how can the Most High, how can a man be just with God if he contend with him? You can't, man. Stop contending with the Most High. All right? Be faithful unto death. Don't contend, you know what I mean? Put the Most High over all things. And at the end of the day, man, you'll see and understand all the beautiful things that happen, right? Job, he was given everything back 1,000-fold, man. 1,000-fold. And at the end of the day, we can prove that in the scriptures, man. You lose all things, you get, what does it say in the kingdom, Mark? You get 1,000 more?
God. Oh, sevenfold. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, man, that's it. I yield. I give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Christ. Like I said, we are the 12 Gates Israelite School. I'm in New Mexico. The brother over here is in Southern California, San Bernardino. Hit us up, man. You got the link, 12 Gates Israelites School right here. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the email. I'll throw that in the chat.
Con, I got to get ready for work, Cox, so I'm out of here. Any questions, you already know, hit the brother. If not, you know what I'm saying, the email is the brother's going to put in the chat. Or you can always, contact us one way or another. But shalom.
It's like that email's wrong. This is the correct one. Oh, Salakia. The water king, the water. Any questions? Go ahead, throw them up in the chat. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes to run off. If not, we're going to end it. All right, Akim. If anybody needs anything, go ahead and hit the group text. Messages down here. Anybody outside the camp need to get a hold of us right here. Or you can leave a comment. I'll get back to you. With that, shalom, Israel.